Welcome, Jami.
Thanks, Deja.
To Talking with Deja Blaise. Thank you for joining us today. Okay, so I know you through Actors Connection, and I know you've done a lot of work just in the last couple of years. But I was looking over your IMDb, and you've been around since like 1985. I don't know if that's like the beginning or if that's
83. I can't.
83. Okay, so but you had like a lot of experience. So I want to talk about just your journey in the industry. From the beginning, like what got you started in this business until today, and like what keeps you going and motivated. Just talk about a little bit about that. So first, where are you from?
I was born in the Midwest in Ames, Iowa State Cyclones. And from the beginning, I think I still remember always watching all these old I Love Lucy episodes, and it wasn't like about, oh, she's famous, oh, she's an actor, or, oh, they're so funny. It's more like, isn't it kind of interesting how she can make people laugh? Isn't it kind of interesting she can create a character and make people feel things? So it's almost like it wasn't like, oh, you could be rich and famous as an actress at first, but it's more like the creation was already there kind of when I was even like in grade school.
Right.
And we had a very creative programs here and there. We wrote creative stories in 3rd and 4th grade.
Yeah.
We acted out little skits. And there was always something along the way, doing things on tape in 6th grade. Didn't have much going on in junior high. But then once I auditioned for my first show in high school as Guys and Dolls, that was it.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
and so I did, I don't know how many shows I did in high school, a dozen or more.
Yeah.
And then we did summer stock in the summer, so we did 4 plays in 5 weeks, so we were all involved with that for 3 summers. And then I went to Iowa State, and it took me 5 years because I had to pick up all these different requirements.
Mm-hmm.
I was also in the dance department, and like theater was in the speech department, and dance was in the physical education department. So you had to get science stuff, and you had to get humanities classes, you had to get education classes, you had to get PE classes.
Yeah.
So it took me 5 years to get all the requirements for each one separately, so it turned into not a double major, it was a double degree.
Oh, nice.
So I have 2 bachelors. And then it's always like the thought was like, well, maybe I should go to get a master's to fall back on. No.
Yeah.
So I couldn't find a good program I liked with the theater. So I went into grad school as a dance, and I got offered a teaching assistantship. So I taught modern and jazz dance for a year at Illinois State.
Yeah. And
then I just kind of went back home to Iowa for about 6 or 9 months. So I'm going to move out to New York in March of 1983.
Nice. Yeah, I was thinking like Iowa to
Yeah. So and then my mother's mother was going to give me like $500 to kind of don't tell the other grandchildren. But then she felt bad and gave me all some money anyway. So But yeah, so I moved out here in March of '83. I had a job and a place to live in about 10 days, and
nice.
I one of my survival jobs was at Bloomingdale's. Mm-hmm. And this one guy, I found he was an actor, and I just picked his brain, and he just was so patient with me, like I knew nothing about the business side. I just asked him about headshots and resumes and So I probably drove him crazy.
Yeah.
But he was very good. So I try to pass that along if people ask me stuff like that, and to keep them informed of what you really need to have going for you. So.
Okay, right? No, that's I think one of the main things, and one of the reasons why I've decided to start this type of program is because sometimes you just don't even know where to start. Like you just want to get like a foot in and figure out, okay, basics. What about headshots? Like, what do I get headshots? What are headshots? Like, and that's amazing that he was able to do that for you. Because
a friend of mine had taken some pictures before I left Iowa. It wasn't like a headshot. It was just it's back in the black and white.
Yeah.
So I did. Yeah, I looked at the ads in the backstage and everything, and I found a guy I liked, and and then every few years you got to take more. So I have more and more pictures. So I just either some recommendations or guys I met that were photographers. So So every few years you get more headshots. You find that out. And then there's having those books on the subject about, headshot photographers, how to do a resume, classes to take, what to do, sending out pictures or postcards. I don't hardly do that anymore.
Yeah, and Actors Connection is great for that too, for giving that introduction.
But back in the day, you do massive headshots instead of emails or anything, and just headshots and postcards.
That's true.
Don't do much of that. Do a little of that, but still don't do much of that anymore.
Right, not as much anymore. Yeah. Okay, so you moved to New York, and what was your first job?
Well, back then they used to have these scene showcases.
Yeah.
So you could pay, and they cast you in a scene. Mine was like Last of the Red Hot Lovers.
Nice.
And then you would all do them for an invited audience of supposedly agents or casting people.
Yeah.
And we'd never done ours all together, so we didn't know the whole show was going to last like 3 hours, and ours was like 30 hours.
Wow.
So most of the audience had left already, except the one agent. I've done a headshot mailing by that time.
Yeah.
The one agent that responded stayed to the bitter end.
Oh, that's nice.
And he also freelanced with me for a while. And then I was taking flyers out for that, and I walked into a casting office, and they were looking for extras for the original Ghostbusters. And I went, and I go, oh, I'm available on these days. So I run home to where I was living and told one of my roommates, and he ran down. So we both worked like 3 days on Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's amazing.
So at Central Park West, where the police cars kind of, and the Stay Puft guy, we have,
right.
That's in the rain.
So that was one of your first
the first paying jobs. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you had a roommate by this point. That was your first living accommodation?
Yeah, I moved in with a roommate, and then I found another place to live across the street, and that didn't work out. And then I apartment hopped for a while, ended up in Queen subletting. And it's another actor's journey. It's nice to find a place to stay rather than just jumping around in sublets and chairs. But yeah, I had a place to live because a friend of mine was already out here, and he stayed with them for a while, and then found another place.
Okay, and so that was, it wasn't stable, but you were at least able to find housing, because I feel like when you're from out of town, sometimes it's difficult to adjust or to accommodate to this New York environment. I mean, I'm pretty sure New York is very different from Iowa, so what was that transition process like? It
really wasn't bad, because in grad school, we actually did a spring break trip out here and saw like a Broadway show and some dance concerts and stuff, so that was kind of that. And then somehow I must have been applying through something, and a theater in Pennsylvania called me and said, come to New York and audition. So somehow I have no memory now how I got out here. I remember I stayed with a friend of mine who actually knew my cousins. Yeah. And I had a head cold when I came out here, and he fed me, he brought chicken soup home for me every day.
Oh, that's nice.
And did my audition, went home. And then, eventually I just moved out. I think I came out one more time after grad school just to visit and see some Broadway. Yeah. And then I moved out here permanently. So I didn't feel, like
you had an introduction.
Yeah, so I didn't feel like anything was too weird. I got my feet wet, and I didn't feel nervous or anything. They're all like, be careful of subways and carry your purse under your coat, the whole thing.
Yeah.
But, no, it was, the hardest thing was trying, getting the job.
Right.
And to kind of move around jobs, because the first job I had was full-time, so I had no time to audition. Right. So then I, changed jobs, and then part-time, but still wasn't really great. Yeah. And I forget at one point, from Bloomies, they also had a shift called evenings and weekends. You could do like Monday and Thursday night and the weekend, so then I had the rest of the time free. So
right, that's great.
That worked out for a while, and did some temp work, and toy store demonstrations. That was mostly weekends. Yeah. So you kind of figure it out as you go.
But you were able to find different odd jobs that you could do in order to still pursue the craft.
And some was through backstage, or there was one that was like a mime. They were going to play a toy soldier in a mall at Christmas time. Nice. Walk with a white face. So I was like in the store window sometimes pose, or I sneak up behind people. And so there's a few of those like that. Did some other mime promotion jobs for a while in white face.
So it's kind of like acting. Just a different type of acting.
Did a bar mitzvah once where I was a face painter, and they had a Billy Idol and a Rod Stewart impersonators who were really, if they had the sunglasses on, really were like, looked like,
a path.
Yeah. So something like even a bar mitzvah, and mime stuff, and just everything. You just kind of find, and you eventually get cast in theater, and eventually get some TV work, and eventually get some film work, so.
Okay, so then what was the first opportunity that you had where you felt like, okay, I'm on the road now. This is it. Because I know the first credit I saw on IMDb is from '85, but if that is that the same one, or what was the moment that you felt was like, okay?
Well, for me, it was important to, at that time, AFTRA and SAG were separate. You could buy into AFTRA. So even when that first agent who saw me said, you need to join AFTRA, so it'll separate you from the housewives who think they want to be an actress. So you just kind of plunk the money down. Okay, it's on your resume. I'm a member of AFTRA. Right. And so I was taking some soap opera classes, on-camera classes at a school. Yeah. And like how do you approach this diplomatically? Yeah, I'd like to get some work on your show so I can get into SAG, and equity. And so finally, I did ask her. So I don't want to go like everyone's going, hey, can you? Right. So I also work studied there. So I was answering the phone one time, and she called, and I said, by the way, could you? So like a few minutes later, she called back and goes, well, I have a voiceover coming up. sold. I'll take it. Even if I'm not on camera,
it's an opportunity.
Yeah. So that was kind of the first thing for me, maybe when I actually got into the unions, because at that time that would get me into both SAG and Actors Equity. So that was about 86, I guess.
Yeah.
I did a few non-union films before that, and they had a magazine thing I got through a casting director. It was a spoof of Cosmopolitan called Cosmo Parody. And on this particular issue, they had, God bless her soul, Joan Rivers, and she was in this big sequin dress and her bra strap hanging out. And I was in a couple of spreads. One was like a makeover where you had like a face transplant. So,
wow.
So I was like the before. And of course they had this fashion model. It was very, very silly. And I was sitting on the subway one day and a girl was looking at me and she crossed the aisle and she goes, you know, you look just like that girl I saw in this magazine recently. And I just sat there and she went, it's you!
It's like, it is you!
But there's stuff like that. Yeah, a couple, Crumbs they threw me in films, some speaking parts and stuff. And And even before I got in union, my claim to fame, I did a few music videos, and one was Jermaine Jackson's video, Dynamite.
Oh,
you can see me!
That's cool.
It's one of the female prison guards. You can see me flash by the camera a few times on we're all billy clubs and we flash back, So
that's really neat.
That was July 4th of 85, maybe. Yeah. So that's still floating around there.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, and then Reading Rainbow came up. That was 88, and I did a tour of Cinderella's Christmas in 86. And we did a tour around Eastern Pennsylvania and upstate. And yeah. So kind of was the bump was getting into SAG and Equity.
Exactly. Then you'll have more opportunities for those types of
more credibility.
Right. And so now moving through the years, what are some of your highlights? If you had to tell someone, this is what I'm really most proud of, because we're gonna get to high maintenance soon. I want to know, because when I said, I was like, oh my gosh, I know her. But what are some of the ones that you just feel most proud of? Because it seems like you don't seem to have a preference when it comes to theater, film, or TV. Or if you do, you let me know. But I feel like you've had a good mix of different things.
Of course, in college it's all theater. So, but it seems like out in New York, some people you only know through theater, they don't know this for TV and film, and vice versa. So I like it all. So at one point, I forget what year it was, the same year I got into the unions, I did an off-Broadway show. My roommate at the time was going to be the writer, star, producer.
Nice.
And he wrote a part for me. It was the comedy relief part. I'll actually get drunk. And I get to make fun of this snobby girl in the play, so... And it ran 8 weeks off Broadway, 8 shows a week. Yeah. And we had return business. And I got fan mail. And I got flowers from strangers. So it was and I got a couple of agents called from that. So that was kind of fun. And also.
And what was that called?
It was called What About Love?
What About Love? And
we did this little hole in the wall. And I do mean a hole down the village. They had rats in the basement. It was just this little tiny space. Probably been condemned now.
Yeah, but a lot of people came out. It seems like it must have been a good production.
Oh, yeah, it's strangely enough, because it was to unglamorize the business. It was this little hole in the wall. There was one dressing room because somebody lived in the other one with their cats.
Wow.
There was no bathroom backstage. There was a bathroom in the front of the house, but you had to go out in the alley to get there during the show. And there's often a drug deal going on there.
Oh my! New York.
Yeah, one girl brought a coffee can behind this curtain. It was just ridiculous for this space. Yes, they dared to come down to this neighborhood to the show. But he wrote a lot of the punchlines for me, so that was my fun. I'm getting increasingly drunk in a few scenes, and just playing with the timing of a line. It's kind of you give a beat, you give no beats, you give 2 beats. Yeah. And if the laugh happens, you got to hold for the laugh until it starts going down, so you can continue talking, or you'll lose the line. Right. So a few of those that the laugh came out during the run that you hadn't heard before, and it came late. So then, it happened that there was another director at this time, and he came to that particular show. And so this huge laugh, and so the other person I playing my mother, just holding for this huge laugh. And she said her line too soon that cued me into a second joke. Yeah. And I knew that they didn't hear it, and I didn't want to go, what did you say, Mom? Right. So I just waited for the laugh to, and just said my line, going, well, we lost that one, because I'm not going to go, I didn't hear you.
The technical parts of it.
Yeah, timing the lines around the laughs, especially if you're not expecting the laugh.
Right.
So, the timing, sometimes I would like, maybe in the middle of the run, kind of pull things up by the roots, like maybe it's feeling a little stalemated to freshen up, trying to be really in the moment besides playing off the obvious jokes, And so that was really, the one I really liked was such a juicy role. It was so funny and written for me, and I got to play a lot of comedy for like 8 weeks, and so that was a goodie. The Cinderella thing was fun. We toured around and signed autographs for kids after the show, and it was very campy. The two guys played my stepdaughters, I can drive. But they played it like it was them. Right. They just had to be dressed in dresses and wigs, so it was like they wasn't playing like, in higher voices.
Exactly, they weren't playing kids.
And so every time I would come out on stage first, and then they would answer me in a normal voice, and there was no audience reaction until they actually entered. And you could always hear a parent in the audience go, "Oh my God." We had somebody like blacked out a tooth around, warts. It was very funny.
That's hilarious. And where was that?
We toured it around upstate in Pennsylvania for about 5 weeks. Yeah. And we had a lot of time on our hands, so we went to every country inn and bowling alley and mall we found in our wake, and played charades at night, So
that's nice. You built some camaraderie too.
That was because there was a lot of downtime for us. There was another tour, and they had 2 shows a night, did a lot of driving, but ours was usually 1 show a day, and sometimes we even came back to the city in between shows, but that was fun too, to Cinderella.
So now, I guess, moving, into the more recent years, now, like we mentioned, you were on High Maintenance. Is that one of the projects that you're most proud of?
Oh,
and tell us, how did you get it? What was the process like?
Also, thanks to Actors Connection, I met Katja Blickfeld, who was on the casting department of 30 Rock. Yeah. Actors Connection. And, I see her here and there at Actors Connection or whatever. And so one day I got an email saying, we're doing this web series called High Maintenance. We have this role we want you to do. We're doing it this day and time. I'm like, sure, why not? Yeah. So I just go and do it. It's very, of course, there you're beginning the steps from a web series to what you dream is to an actual series. Yeah. But it was very tight, very professionally done. We did the scenes. It was great. I was sworn to secrecy. It didn't air until they edited it, and it was like the room when it aired. But they had so much going for them. They had, however they got this publicized and out there from the beginning. Yeah. When it first came out, I swear 50 people the first day it came out, came and saw me at Equity and went, "Oh my God, you're in that show called High Maintenance." So it was already high visible right away from the beginning. Then I get an email from them about a year later, and they said, my character's Pinky, a street performer. Yeah. And they said, we want you to be the first one to recur. And again, you're sworn to secrecy. I couldn't tell anybody. And it wasn't aired for like 3 months. Yeah. Did the same thing, same location. I had some lines with Ben and his niece in this one. So we did it again, and and again, it's like, oh my God. So that was more funny than even the other one people recognize me on the street, because mostly a week doesn't go by since those happen that somebody, a complete stranger, will walk up on the street or at Actors Connection or at Actors Equity or somebody. Right. And the funniest one was this guy, God bless him. I was walking just like up to Actors Connection on 9th Avenue. He runs up to me and he's clapping his hands and shaking my hand and patting me on the shoulder, and he was just jumping up and down. He just couldn't get any words, like, oh my God, oh my God. Yeah. It was just, didn't ask for an autograph or a picture. He was just like beside himself. To see. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, okay, thank you.
That's so nice, though, to know that your work is touching people, right?
Yeah. And a guy, I was with my boyfriend in Times Square, and a guy walked up to me and said, "Oh my God, you're on High Maintenance. It's so great. We love the show." Everybody loves the show. Yeah. And like, are you an actress? Do you really do that? Like, I'm
Yep. They just got me.
So it was a selfie. I never saw the selfie you took in Times Square, but
that's cool though.
Yeah. And my boyfriend flaked out because later we saw the original breakdown for the original show, and it said, for my role, a crazily dressed Jami Simon type, all in pink, going, "Oh my gosh, I become her type. I don't know what it is."
That's cool too.
You're a prototype.
Right, that they can reference you. Yeah. So it goes to show that, I guess, certain programs, Actors Connection in particular, can provide, I guess, the doorway to opportunities, because you were able to get in the room that way. And not only that, but it started as a web series, and so that was able to create a platform for the
They were like the prime example of starting from a web series and building yourself up. So I did 2 years in the web series, a year with Vimeo. I think it was the first show that Vimeo produced originally.
Nice.
And there were whispers about HBO even then. And then when HBO happened, it really wasn't a surprise. And so they've been doing 6 episodes, getting gradually longer because of the network thing. And I think they got picked up for the next series after the second one last year. So I think they did more this year. Maybe they did 10.
Yeah.
So, so that show is gangbusters and so that's kind of fun. And where are we going? That one. I was also going to mention. I'm going to track back a little bit. I did this tour for this library. I've been writing my own materials. Another good thing as actors do is write some of your own material.
Right.
And I've been doing little kids shows at the various libraries in Manhattan, Bronx, and Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And so this librarian called me one day and said, "Would you write a skit and promote the summer reading series in Brooklyn, and we'll pay you per show?" And so I said, we all did script in hand. We had 8 kids ready at each school. We did 1 to 4 assemblies a day.
Wow.
And I made so much money in 8 weeks.
That's amazing. You can save that because
it was great. It was to emphasize, my whole thing was about emphasizing the reading rather than the producing. So we were all in script in hand.
Yeah.
And they had absolutely no rehearsal. They didn't know what was going on most of the time. I'd arrive and they'd be all waiting for me in the auditorium and say, "Do we have to memorize this?" "No." "When are we doing it?" "Oh, in about 30 minutes. An audience of 600 of your peers.
Right.
So, and they're amazingly poised, So, and then if we were going to do more than one, they have to keep all the same kids out of classes until we did the next however many they were doing at the school.
Oh, that must be so rewarding.
And some days I went to a second school and we did 2 in the morning school and then 2 in the afternoon school. So it was exhausting, but it was lucrative. And and they did increase attendance at the libraries that summer, the 2 summers I did it, years of this. So that was another thing. But yeah, the high maintenance, that's me.
That's fantastic. Okay, so for some of our viewers are going to be actors. So what is some advice that you would give to a budding actor or even an actor who's working now, just trying to get opportunities? What would be advice you'd give based on your experience?
Number 1 is take a class. Mm-hmm. You have to have an acting class. I know there's all the myths about being discovered in drugs, whatever. Doesn't. You really need to have the chops, and so look around acting schools. It doesn't have to be in New York or LA or Chicago. Look for, if you got things like in high school, like I had an exceptional director in high school who had contacts with the Guthrie, and he expected absolute professionalism from us, and he had the whole production schedule set up before we started. So every day of the next 6 to 8 weeks, we knew what was expected of us.
Right.
And if you showed up even 5 minutes late for a rehearsal, he thought nothing of reaming you in front of everybody and recasting you, even if it was like dress rehearsal or So that's kind of that's kind of where my expectations are. I expect people to show up on time, know their lines that they're supposed to, and the whole thing.
Right, just do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, so we had acting classes then too, and then doing all those shows, and he would let nobody beat us in acting diva. We had to be in 1 or 2 crews backstage, so you're gonna learn. So we learned the whole thing in high school, and we did also 5 weeks in the summers besides doing the whole school year.
Yeah,
we did 5 weeks in the summer for 3 summers, and then went to Iowa State and a little more competition there. But I did do 4 main stage shows. I turned a couple down just for various reasons we don't get into here, but so that was competitive too, and also got into the dance department more. That also been my high school also had a really good dance teacher, so very innovative dance concerts and things. And so got a lot of studying in with the dance as well, and did concerts there, and choreographed some things and dance. So, and then taught dance in grad school and did more choreography. So it's just kind of, the more training you give yourself. If you just want to do theater, that's fine. If you just want to do TV or film, that's fine. But you have to have the acting, know what you're doing, and then if you're going to do a scene, you have to know how to, create the character and how to do the scene work and break down, everything, and to know where you're going. Like, nothing is written in stone. You can make some decisions early on in the process, and then as you go through rehearsals, you'll change some things, obviously. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot more work than people think it is. Yeah. If you get the luxury of time, like with a show, you can do a lot of work on the lines and things. With a TV show, we'll plug Blacklist too. When we did Blacklist, for instance, I don't remember when I got the audition. I had the audition on a Wednesday. Or maybe I got that only like a day or two ahead. Got the sides ahead of time. I had like a couple different roles to read for. Auditioned on Wednesday morning, got the offer Wednesday night, had a fitting Thursday, shot it Friday.
Wow.
So
quick.
You've got to be ready,
Yeah.
it moves fast. You may not get much time with your script ahead of time. You got to be good to go.
Right.
And it was great,
That's amazing. And how did you get that audition?
Well, that was after I got my agent, Tracy Turton, our agent.
Yes.
We love our agent. Now it also helps, like she said, when you meet people at Actors Connection, you keep networking with more and more casting people. So it may have helped that I had met one of the casting associates in a class there. So she called me with the audition, and I went in, and he was in the room, as was another associate I hadn't met before.
Yeah.
And so I did the 2 roles. They had me repeat one of them. Great, done, boom, out the door. And,
nice.
And you kind of you don't know, you don't know what they want, so you do your best. And
what's meant for you is meant for you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I felt like I couldn't have done anything better or different. They want me, don't. And it turned out that one of the guys in the waiting room when I was there was cast for the other role. So
that's lovely.
Set on the set, and 2 days later, so it was kind of fun, and the set was great. They were so professional. They were doing 2 cameras at a time.
Yeah.
Call time was at 10.
Oh, nice.
On the set at noon, done by 2:30. So it was not a late shoot. It was very professional, and the director is great.
That's amazing.
So,
well, you've had a wealth of opportunities that were presented to you, and I'm so proud of you. And let us know, when is the Blacklist episode airing?
It airs on Wednesday, January 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'm a co-star role with Claude Lines. But I was going to say,
on what channel?
NBC, Channel 4. I was also going to say, you're not always handed things. Sometimes you are, because I had a few roles last fall? I was offered because they knew me from High Maintenance. I got a pilot. Right. I got a film co-star.
That's amazing. I
got some things, and you get a little spoiled if you get things handed to you, because it's nice just to get the roles to have an audition for.
Yeah.
But you got to make your own opportunities too. Get out there. I've auditioned a lot. Let me tell you, I've gone to a lot of calls. I've been up in the morning. I've done my homework. I try to get in as much as I can get done. So, you may work for years in one direction, something else comes out, out of the blue.
Right.
So even our agent, she knew me from High Maintenance, and she knew me from the pilot. So there was already this thing established.
Exactly.
I've been a reader for her, so it just all seemed to click at one time.
Right.
So things are, and there's another co-star coming up. I can't talk about it because I had to sign an NDA. That's coming up. I won't tell you the date either. It's about a month away.
Yeah. Okay, so to be continued.
2 things are coming. Yeah, there's another thing coming up as well about a month after the Blacklist, but yeah, so it's been percolating. And it's kind of funny because you can't talk about it.
Right, but you're working, and that's the important thing.
It's like
you're working at.
The second one was shot in June, so it's not being aired till now, and the Blacklist was shot in the middle of October, and they had pre-emped a lot of things for Christmas, but yeah, it's being aired in January 3rd, so you never know when it's going to actually get on the air.
Right. And then it might be that it all happens at once, and it's like, she's doing a lot.
So it's going to come up pretty close together, it looks like. So
that's amazing. Yeah, well, thank you so much,
thanks
Jami,
for inviting me,
joining us and telling us a little bit about your career. And as more things come up, we'll have you back on to talk to us
to promote some more things.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Deja. It's always great to see you.